What up, y'all? How you doing? This is your boy Gerald. Today is Friday, the 28th of August, 2014. Big ups to those who are embracing their educational journey and going back to school. Shout outs to each and every one of you. And even if you just thinking about it, big ups, big ups. Don't compromise your dreams because whatever your environment is, by all means, stay the course, because it is you that has to make the sacrifice to make your dreams a reality. Now, on a different note, so I just get in from class, and as I always do, I'm rolling in my Jeep. I got my music going, and that's when I do a lot of my thinking, a lot of my reflection is sparked through just being in transition. That's how a lot of times my higher power, as I know him, as my Lord Jesus Christ, but I'm humbled enough to know he is one of many names. A lot of times he will send messages of insight to me so I can reflect and process what I'm supposed to learn. So first and foremost, if you don't have a relationship with your higher power, as I say, I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ, I hope that you do. And I'm praying in your behalf. But most importantly, be authentic to who you are. That's the only way that you're going to have clarity in not only where you are, reflecting on where you've been, but more importantly, the person that you're going to become, in the future. That person is relying on you to make sound decisions for your legacy, your life. And it should be looked at as priceless, because there's only one you, okay? So now, with that being said, so I'm rolling home. I got to get back to Tyson because we've got a schedule, and I got to make sure that he's taken care of. So as I get in, the Spirit is on my heart, and the message I'm supposed to convey to you is this: to my family, to my kings and my queens, or even if this is the first time that you have discovered this video, someone may have sent it to you. Give them their due. Give them the respect, because they must have you in a high regard, and they truly must love you or care about you. Now, here's why I'm putting this out. Long ago, about at least a good 20-25 years ago, it could have been even 30 plus years ago, as a child, I remember on especially Saturdays, my Soul Train will be on, and even through the week, during certain times of the day, in the evening, I would always see this commercial, and the commercial was from the Negro College Fund, and their slogan was, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." You see it all the time. They had like 3 or 4 controversial ads that they were running. As a matter of fact, if you go right up here and put that in there, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it was supposed to do what it was supposed to do. Now, so as I'm thinking about it, right, I'm processing this divine message, more or less. It's on my heart, and I'm trying to really just understand. And the only way you can understand what's needed to be conveyed to you is to be still, which means you've got to be humble within yourself to be safe within yourself. Therefore, you must make a determination to identify who you are. So bottom line, real is real. Okay? Now, excuse me. This is the gist of why I'm putting this video up. 5 minutes in. So with that was placed in my mind, placed on my spirit, I'm thinking about those commercials as a young boy. And I was like, wow, you know, but little did I know that was actually just a means for me to go and talk about this. See, you do understand, as you've probably heard many and numerous times, that your mind is infinite. We only use 6% of our brain. 6%. But I know you've already heard this. If a man can thinketh, he can be. So therefore, whatever is found in your mind can be your reality. But it cannot come into fruition unless you ground your feet. Therefore, there must be a sacrifice when it comes to you. The investment must come from you. You must place the seeds in your life to have the harvest that is destined, and that is your name. So, with that being said, this is why I'm putting this video up. See, not to go on a rant, and I think this will resonate with those that need to receive this message. So, you know how I always say, whatever's found in your heart, that is a reality. That's your reality. That is why I always constantly beat that drum, right? Now, the reason I do that is because I see each and every one of your worth. And if you're just stopping by, someone gave you this video, guess what? Divinely, it was meant for you to hear this right now. So take it in. It is conveyed from a place of love, okay? Alright. Now, so as I'm thinking, I'm reflecting, and I realize that society does not want you to fully tap into your mind's capacity. I know you're saying, what do you mean by that, Gerald? That's over my head. Okay, I'm going to slow it down. See, you know how you've heard the saying, proverbial saying, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it? I know we've all heard that, right? Okay. So think about it. If you're speaking something out into your environment, that's an affirmation. That is the pre-stage of manifesting, which manifesting all is projection. So think about it. How many times have you had a situation or an occurrence where you were going down a path and something all of a sudden almost knocks you off your feet emotionally, or causes a distraction or a derailment on what you're trying to do? Maybe in your job, maybe in your personal life, maybe in your family life. And you take that focus on what you're trying to accomplish and place it on that task at hand, right? And you lose sense of self, and whatever that you were trying to accomplish falls to the back burner. Okay, you follow me so far? Okay. Now, see, society, because a lot of times we see what is being put out there in the media. A lot of people that do not know who they are fall in a vulnerable state. They're easily influenced. That's why they target the young so much, because it's about the hook. So the message I pass to you, my kings and queens, is this. And like I said, I say this in love, okay? Number one, it is very important that you invest in yourself. but authentically. The reason I say that is far too many times you invest in the things that you don't need. Remember back in the day for my hip-hop heads, Queen Latifah, Queen, if you see this, peace and blessings, she came out with a song called Unity, right? And what was the song's intro? Who you calling a bitch, right? Gets your attention each and every time when you hear it. But far too many times, we allow the things that do not have any worth, do not have any merit, to define who we are. My queens, I mention this as an example to you for one sole thing. Why are you giving energy? Why are you giving investment to things that do not invest in you? My kings, the same applies. If you have a vision of where you wish to be in life, why will you not invest in that vision? I'll tell you why. Because 90% of the time, things do not happen or come into fruition because of fear. Yes, fear. You know how I say it. Finally, everything's a reality. It's a reality because no one has the courage to speak their truth. You hear that? Somebody almost wrecked. Thank you, my angels. That was a validation. And that's how some people's lives happen. Something abruptly distracts you from where you need to be or where you're trying to go or accomplish, and now you've got to pick up the pieces. You have to make a point. You've got to make a point that the proverbial the proverbial line is drawn in the sand. See, a lot of times we allow, you know how I say that if you have to make a choice, it's always best to give yourself some time to reflect so you can make sound decisions. But a lot of times when choices need to be made abruptly, we never get the outcome that we desire. Why? Because we don't have all the facts. But we're always required to pick up the pieces when they fail. Why? It's because we're not investing in ourselves. Here's another thing that I want to point out. Until you are able to ground your feet, first, emotionally, you got to get inside that heart of yours. Some of you are walking around with masks on your face, and into the world, you're playing a part that is not you. Some of you are actually to the point you are engaging in things that you know you have shame for it. That's why you're crying. That's why, you do those where you see in the movie where you see the female. She's in the shower and she's trying to scrub herself clean. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, for my family, set it off. Remember that scene when Jada made that compromise of herself to get that check for her son? For her brother, and she slept with that guy, and she knew darn well that she didn't want to do that, but she did it because she loved her brother so much. But what happened out of that? It never came into fruition. It never came into. So what I'm saying is this, my queens, you got to make a decision to live an authentic life. Stop putting your life in a position to be validated. You're saying, Joe, why are you saying that right now? Because you know I'm telling the truth. The way that you think, the way that you act, it's all about validation. The way you spend your money is about validation. But in actuality, what is being represented today in today's society is there's such a desire to feel appreciated that people go beyond the call of duty, even in compromise. If it's divinely meant for you to have, don't you think you'll have it? But what is the price? What is the price that has to be paid? Is the price felt from your heart? How about your self-respect? Or worse, your dreams? See, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to point this out, and I'm going to bring it back home. You got to take a responsibility on what you see, what you hear, and how you react. See, society is very slick on what they do. And if you're not aware of what you do, you're going to fall right in line like sheep. And you don't deserve that. That is why you are to be the exception of the rule. I'm going to tell you why. Let me give you two examples. Number one. Why is it, no matter where you go, I don't care where you go, you will always see the image of that person that is idolized, no matter where you go. You'll find 1,001 Beyoncés and 1,001 Rihannas and 1,001 Kim Kardashians. But guess what? There's only one you. So why aren't you celebrating that? Why? Do you not think that your worth is not equal to? Why do you do that? I'll tell you why. It's because you allowed your environment to condition the way you think. And in return, the price for that was your self-esteem. Society wants you to believe the only way that you can be looked at as a woman, my queens, is you got to nip tuck. You got to pull back instead of standing in your glory and grace. Don't you realize you have a power within you that is called grace, that you can walk into a room and not say a word and that you will be noticed? But make sure that noticing is positive, not negative. So the question is, why do you condone it? Here's another trick that society try to put under your nose, and unfortunately a lot of people have indoctrinated it, and it's sad because all it does is just disenfranchise each and everybody that condones it. This goes out to my parents, those who have kids, with you or without. This message goes directly to my kings too. Society has convinced the psyche of whoever is willing to feed into it that it is okay to degrade you and call you a baby mama when you're a mother. Now, what is to be debated upon is your parental skills. That's only for you to define and project out to the world. But society, unfortunately, created that word, put it out there in the mainstream, which is nothing but a cesspool. And guess what? It was indoctrinated into our culture. And now it's looked at as a term of endearment. And what is sad is it was indoctrinated by ignorant people. And you're not ignorant, so why claim it? Or worse, why answer to that, my queens? Because you do have a responsibility for those that are mothers, that either if you're with or without, you have a responsibility to prepare your seeds, your offsprings, to have the best life possible. My family, y'all know this. How many times have you heard your folks tell you, either together or not, I want to make sure that you had a life better than I did. Because you are extensions of them. So, my kings, I say this to you. If you are a father, with or without, every time that you use that term, you are actually disrespecting yourself. Do you not see the correlation in that? Your name and legacy was already written before you took your first breath. How it is manifested and placed out into the world to be chronicalized is done by your actions. But I'm a firm believer of this. I'm going to keep saying this until I don't have any more breath. Everything can change except for death. Because your greatest commodity is not found between your legs. It is not found in your pockets. It is not found on your back. Your greatest commodity is time. I tell you what, I give $1,000 to the first person that can bring back yesterday. Because I know a lot of you wish that you could go back to yesterday to undo what you did because you're where you are now. But that may be a blessing in disguise, because guess what? You can learn from it. You can define it. But you ain't got to claim. You ain't got to claim the things that don't make you you. Hold on one second, fellas. My queens, I got a client. Give me a second. Hey, I'm doing a recording real quick. Let me call you back, okay? Alright. Sorry about that. So, every time, my kings and queens, when you decide to fix your mouth and project words out, be careful. It comes with a responsibility. Do you not realize that when it comes to emotional abuse, the ones that have the deepest wounds are the ones that are not seen? That is why it is very imperative for those who are parents to put some discretion on what is seen and what is heard. Because they are going to walk and talk and emulate their environment. So if their environment it is not positive, you cannot, and I repeat, cannot take a position on what has grown. But you can change it. You can change it. So on the back burner, I say this to you, my queens. Stop compromising you. Stop compromising your heart. Stop compromising your body. As I always say all the time, if you got to give something up and it's not reciprocated through growth, why are you there? Because the environment that you're in, there's no growth there. It is like an endless sinkhole. Now, I know somebody saying, well, Gerald, hey, I went through a whole lot of stuff. I got cars dealt to me, and I turned out right. Oh, really? You did? Why are you walking around with so much anger in your tone? Why are you walking around animated like this? Because don't you realize every time that you display that to your environment, all that is a nonverbal and silent request for help. Oh yes, I know, queens. You just want to feel safe. You want to feel environments. Because let me tell you something. And for my kings, you need to put your pride down and your ego to the side. Because guess what? As long as you stay on that path, everything that you hold dear in your walk will be taken away because you're not showing the value or the nourishment for it to grow. I know somebody right now is probably hurt, shook, pissed off because the person that you thought was going to walk with you the rest of your days then walked out your life. Now you can look at that in twofold though. If they didn't love you, then you didn't need them. But one thing I have also come to learn about this is too. A person can never walk away from a person unless there's two people involved. So you got to be real with yourself. I mean, it's just your life. It's just your life. It's just your legacy. Does that not matter? Do you not give a damn about where you're going? But then again, if you don't know who you are, you're not going to understand where you're going. So you're going to constantly catch L's. Stop doing a disservice to you. More importantly, stop doing disservice to your lineage. Some of you were given a gift of divine gifts that if you would only love yourself, be honest with yourself, look at your flaws, your life will be made new. But as long as you keep embracing that assertive behavior, as long as you keep projecting something that is not, some of y'all faking the funk, faking it hard. You know why I say that? Because you go home and cry at night. Your circle got you doing things that you know you wasn't raised to do that, but you're doing it because you have a thirst. I'm not talking about a thirst like that. You have a thirst to feel whole. And you do yourself disservice every time you leave your boundaries down. Because what happens, my queens? When you leave your boundaries down, you leave your panties on the floor. You allow someone to define who you are instead of you defining what you're about. But that does not give you a pass to have bad behavior. No, it doesn't. So my kings, I say this with love. There's no future in your front. I know you heard that. So when you going to be real with yourself? When you going to be authentic with yourself? Because guess what? Until you do, you fail to realize you represent your heritage. Yeah. Your family tree, you know, everyone's got one. And guess what? Your mark is already there when you took your first breath. And everything connected to you is your extensions. Make it be positive. But I will say this compassionately to each and every one of you that are listening to my voice. It does not matter if you've made bad choices in your life. But what does matter is that you learn from it. That you are honest with yourself. And guess what? If you lose some associations, if you lose some farewell friends, excuse me, if you lose them, guess what? They did you a favor because guess what? They were not willing to invest what it needed to go the distance. But I'm going to tell you this on the side note. Talk about synchronicity. It's time to bust loose. Break that real person out. Because see, you know what? You got that little boy and little girl inside you that's crying to get out. That wants to be heard. That wants to live her dreams. Do you remember her? Eyes big like diamonds to the world's possibilities. You're standing in your own way. Or worse, you're holding on to somebody or something that don't want you to see who you really are. That's why I always will say this. If you're going through hardships, if you got a lot of drama going on in your life, guess what? Look at your circle. Look at your circle. Because I guarantee you, a nickel to a dime, the more that you step into you, you're going to see who is the real and compared to who is a fraud. Because I'm going to tell you what, a fraud don't need your help to expose themselves. Because guess what? They don't want you to see who you are. They can't afford that. Because misery loves company. But I'll say this. The longer you make a position or a point to walk in arrogance, walk in pride. There's a difference between being to be proud of yourself and pride. Ego. Those three things right there will wreck your life. And fourth, not respecting your worth. That means those boundaries. You can't buy that. You can't. And that's why retail therapy doesn't work. Some of y'all got closets full of stuff with tags on it. But you're so broken and dejected, you don't even realize that you've done it. You probably got two of the same thing. Don't even realize you're so caught up in the emotional roller coaster. But guess what? It's time for you to get off of that. It's time for you to step into who you are. But guess what? I'll say this. Those that do love you, those that unconditionally see your worth, will never judge you. They won't. They'll keep praying for you. Because see, they got work they got to do. They got to make sure that wherever God, your higher power, is destined to take them, they're ready for that so they can step into it. Not to claim it, but to be responsible to keep it. So you do understand this, y'all. And if you don't, you have some people that will come into your life to be your taskmaster. You say, what do you mean by being your taskmaster, Gerald? I'll tell you. These are the people that will teach you about your bad habits or your bad behaviors. And guess what? The lesson is in pain. And then guess what? There are those that are destined divinely from your higher power that are going to be in your life to the rest of your days. So it's very, very important that you learn to discern and define your self-worth and self-respect. Because you do understand this, don't you? Two people not in harmony cannot walk together. That's why imitation cannot hold a candle to originality. You need to be that. Be the authentic one. Stop falling for the okie doke and being like what you see on TV. Because I'm going to tell you what you see on TV and what you hear in your ear cannot hold a candle to the person that you are. Some of y'all are so beautiful and don't even realize it. But you turn around and compromise yourself or play the role of playing the chaser and playing that game of the emotional chase. Let me tell you something. The people that are supposed to be in your life are going to walk with you. Even if that means they got to walk away from you, because 9 times out of 10, they don't want to watch you self-destruct or kill yourself slow. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you what, that enemy, that devil, they tell you from the jump. Look at Genesis 6. His whole disposition is to kill, steal, and destroy your life. So if you're with somebody and it feels like they're pulling teeth just so that you can have some sanity, you ain't supposed to be with them. That means you ain't yoked. And there's an ulterior motive underlying it. And the ulterior motive is pain. So, to bring us back home, my queens, stop claiming things you ain't. Claim yourself. My kings, you want someone to respect you? Stand up and claim your name. The only way you can do that is you got to do the work and love yourself. Be humble and admit you're wrong. You admit it to yourself. Because some of y'all have gone down in a boat of misery, and deep down inside, because of your pride, you're in two. And the funny thing about it is, it's just like going to Burger King, but you really want a steak. Why are you settling? Do the work. Do the work. Otherwise, someone else will live your life. And you don't deserve that. Each and every one of you has a divine purpose. That's why you're on this planet. No one can do your work but you. So if you want to be that CEO, take the steps, the authentic steps, so that you can claim that. Because the person that you are in the future, that beautiful person, that handsome man, that loving spiritual person, they're banking, they're depending on your decisions today. But if you feel that you have to give something up just to feel accepted, you've already compromised too much. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. Come on, y'all. We halfway through the year. Well, no, we're almost there. But it's never too late. But you got to claim it first and take the first step. And the first step is you. And for that, I see your worth. And for that, you know it. You know it. You know it. It helps me discern mine. Alright, y'all. Love to hear from you. Hit the subscribe, like or unlike. But if you have any questions or any concerns, or if you just want me to pray, hit me up. I know someone prayed for me, and you know what? I'm going to pray for you because you deserve it. Okay, y'all. Stay blessed, stay protected, and of course, you stay you. Bye, y'all. Have a blessed and safe and protected weekend. Have a great one. Bye.